Hello, welcome to another Encarando o Sobrenatural official video. This is Davi. So, my brother, let me ask you, what do you think about a guy who's having trouble with his motorcycle or his car, and then he goes to a chop shop, talks to a guy he knows steals cars, and buys a part for his own car? From this guy, without a receipt or anything, that's a crime in Brazil, right? It could be considered receiving stolen goods, couldn't it? It's a serious crime, and most people disapprove of this kind of thing. Although, unfortunately, when many people find themselves in this situation, and with the outrageous prices of replacement parts, a lot of people turn to this, right? To the black market, these are parts being advertised, but they're used and way below what they'd actually be worth. Most of them have a destination, actually. They only have one origin. Sombria. Most people reject this, but now I ask you, what about that guy who works hard, sweats, earns his money honestly, right, and gives it to a guy who hunts Christians? There are people who take other people's property. There are people who, if someone criticizes them, they arrest them. How would you consider someone who does that? She is an honest worker, right? But the honest money she earns, she uses to finance. This guy who does all the things I just told you about, I'm sure you would disapprove of this person, right? But what if I told you that this person could be anyone who buys Chinese products, BYD, for example? Look, my brothers, this factory is coming into Brazil. When we talk about Chinese products, of course, there are exceptions, because with the partnerships Brazil has with China and the products that arrive here, it's hard to avoid all of them, but some of them can be avoided, like cars, for example. BYD came in full force. They didn't come to create jobs in Brazil like the government wants you to believe. They came to take money from Brazil, right? And to create jobs for their own citizens, even bringing them here. And then I remember the old Bolsonaro, that original Bolsonaro, way before he ever thought about being president. He did an interview. I've already shown it here at least 3 times, right? He did an interview where he even claimed that if he became president, he would stage a coup. You guys must remember that old interview. I showed it here. It's really old. Neza was still alive back then. He was really young, actually, about the same age as his youngest son. And he said, you know, that if Brazil kept spreading its legs like it is now, there would only be low-paying jobs left for us. We would always be, employees of the Chinese in our own land. And BID, for example, is putting all its Chinese leadership in place. And now we already have reports of harassment, of sexual harassment. We have reports of mistreatment, treating them like slaves, even whipping the employees. And this is just the beginning. I'm bringing a media guy here since he started a channel. It's Cardinote. He's from the regional media here, okay? And he made this video here, which we're going to watch together. Let me open that good old screen, family. I want you to pay as much attention as possible, because this isn't a conspiracy, okay? These are just facts. Let's watch it together. So, let's go. And BID?
They sent the police to intimidate us. We can't accept that BID sends in the police, because that's enough. That's enough. Hey!
Let me add a little something here, folks.
That BID sends the police to intimidate us. We can't accept this violence. It's bad enough that BID sends in the police, because enough is enough. Enough. What does BID do to us in there?
Talk about the car. Report at BD, the Metalworkers Union of Camachari in Bahia, claims to have received a report of workplace bullying and sexual harassment at the BD factory. According to the organization, the complaints involve, wait a minute.
Family, you heard that, right? You can already feel the melodrama, the vibes from Radu, Hadouken.
The Brazilian and Chinese workers. The president of the union, Julio Bonfim, said that reports of workplace bullying number in the hundreds and those of sexual harassment in the dozens. However, he did not provide evidence for these numbers. The complaints gained attention after an assembly on the 9th of this month. The workers are also demanding an increase in the meal allowance to 850 reais and the removal of warnings against union leaders. In a statement, BD, and states that it investigates all complaints, maintains an anonymous reporting channel, and punishes those responsible when the cases are proven. The video that shows the workers' outrage at the assembly. Watch with me.
So we're here fighting for our pay.
Fulano, it was better to continue. You saw it there, and the company said they investigate when the cases, are confirmed. So there are several cases. Why? Because that's the mentality of the people there. Unfortunately, my brothers, the system, when it implements laws, it shapes the minds of its own citizens. You grow up in that system thinking this is wrong, this is right, the world is like this is the way to live in it. You change people, you mold them into that. Then, when you bring it to a country like Brazil, there's this clash, right? There, anyone who's friends with the king can whip people and abuse women. Do you understand, family? That's how a socialist communist regime works. The king's friends, they're treated differently. It's poverty for the people, it's dividing up the goods, it's the right to have no property, but they want to own everything, even what belongs to others. So people also become property that belongs to the state. Keep listening.
We can't accept that BOID sends in the police to intimidate us. We can't accept that BOID sends in the police because enough is enough. Enough with what BOID does to us inside. With workplace bullying, with sexual harassment, with low wages. We can't accept this kind of treatment. I've been here at Ford for 23 years. Never have we had an approach like this in the labor sector. It's absurd.
Wait a minute, he mentioned Ford.
An approach in the labor sector. Never. Always active. I've been here at Ford for 23 years. We've never had an approach in the labor or metallurgical sector asking the worker to come in. That's the role of the justice system, not the police. We respect the military police, we respect the role of the military police, but that's not the police's role. Not even a prohibitory injunction. This is a wage campaign meeting. It's the struggle. And we can't accept this.
Remember that in April, the National Secretary of Labor Inspection, Luis Felipe Brandão de Mello, was fired 4 days after BID was included in the so-called slave labor blacklist. Do you remember that? No? The dismissal was signed by the Chief of Staff's office and published in the official gazette. BID was added to the registry on that day, here.
Family, look, I found it. I was here looking for my phone to show you this video. Look, let me open it here on the computer. Just a minute, family. Let's go to WhatsApp. WhatsApp. I want to play this video for you on the computer. It's a young woman, right? Because Cardinotto seems like a nice guy, but he belongs to the media, so he has to speak with those restraints that the media imposes, right? Let me open the video for you now. It's just for you to see. And look at the level we're at, right? Did you see when he talked about Ford? This is the Ford, folks, and before we watch the lady's video, my opinion of you is going up, Mrs. Ford. Here, look. Our arch enemy, the Mustang, right? You know, I'm on the other side, right? But the big Mustang here, look, here's the thing, look. We're going to defend this legacy until the end. Ford is going against the electrification trend and the company's future, right? They refuse to retire the manual V8 Mustang. So, manual V8 Mustang. Congratulations to Ford. They just went up in my estimation, huh, family? And the Camaro is going back to limbo too, right? It's returning to the line, limbo, Camaro included. So the rivalry between them will continue. Now let's go, family. Let me show you what I was talking about. Here's the lady talking. Look, listen.
For us at the union, this goes beyond workplace harassment. What happened is bodily harm, right? Because a worker, right, who left home in the morning to come here to the company to work, right, to earn their daily bread was cowardly whipped across the back, right? And unfortunately, right, in a period that is very shameful, right, for the history of our Brazil, we know that enslaved workers were whipped so that they would produce, so that they would work.
You see? Chinese people whipping employees in a factory set up in Brazil. A serious, revolting case and completely incompatible with labor laws and with human dignity. Yeah, my brother. But tell me who you walk with and I'll tell you whose this is. More and more, the mainstream media convinces people that it's good to bend over for China. And unfortunately, right, Bolsonaro himself is in jail today, and that can also be considered a punishment from God himself. Because he had every chance to do what needed to be done. I even remember Bolsonaro talking about this before he was elected, of course, right? He used to say that this border policy had to end. Open borders. He talked about that a lot. And he gave examples, right? I'm going to repeat what Bolsonaro himself used to say, right? It wasn't for nothing that a lot of people compared him to Dr. Aeneas, right? But he used to say, look, if we keep letting these people come here, especially for leadership positions, for us, my brother, there will only be grunt jobs left. The guy is going to join the army, and the sergeant, the commander, the captain, they're all going to be Chinese, right? And it's scary. That's how they treat themselves. Their government, my brothers, goes into churches, arrests people, priests and pastors, just for preaching the gospel. It's not about making Veya. It's not a speech to overthrow the government. It's not a speech to support the other side, because there is no side B. They've taken over everything. It's about preaching the gospel, reading the Bible as it is. They see the Bible as a major obstacle to be overcome and destroyed, treating it as if it were cancer. Because in the communist regime, the party, the socialist communist government, must be God. So there's no room for God. They are God. And we're bringing these people here for what? To literally whip our children. Are we going to lump in the whole population? No. Right? But what I'm telling you is that Brazil has been turning away more and more from American companies, European companies, right? That work in a different way. And has brought these people here in large numbers. We know that, right? And these are AI's own projections. Even the physical characteristics of the people from Bahia will change, since many of these factories are there, right? Chinese companies. And a lot of them are coming here. It's a true recolonization of our country. And the worst part is, they're not coming here to be our employees. They're coming to take the better positions inside the Chinese companies themselves. And literally to boss us around. If people paid more attention to Africa, my brothers, the African continent, they would understand that the countries there have a lot of wealth in the ground. But they've already sold and given up everything. They don't make use of these resources. And then you see a continent rich in resources where the people have nothing to eat. And what have we been doing lately? Selling rare earth, right? Giving exploration rights to the pre-salt reserves, for example. As I said, we're giving up real wealth. So what's left? All that's left is to wait for lousy jobs. For the crumbs from the tables of the powerful, that's what's left. Family. We try to speak up, but then people keep believing the same old liars as always. And we really have a battle, hard to win, right? A lost battle, because people don't understand this. Anyway, this video ends here. Share your thoughts on all you've heard. And that video, family, the one we made about Argentina, I'll say it again. Man, I'm trying to bring this to you, all right? I hope I can do it. It's under review, but if I manage to do it, I'll release it for you, as always, for free. I'm discussing this video because it's interesting, because it draws a parallel. It shows how politics works, right? It directly influences the performance of a national team. And Argentina is putting on a great show. They might even lose the game on Sunday, but they're already champions, no doubt about it, because of their perseverance. So, my brothers, I'm going to show this to you, okay? I had already released this video. Some of you saw it. You know what I'm talking about. But unfortunately, it was taken down. It's tough when we face hidden forces, but if we serve God, we have victory. Am I right, family? So it's hard, it's a lot of work, but I'm going to keep going. If God wills, I'll upload this video again for you. Hugs and fire. Hugs.